back to Crypto Harmonics, July 31st. Let's get into some charts real quick. I want to look at some of our major currency pairs that we're looking at, and then I want to switch over and look at our Digibyte trade and the Stellar Lumens that was setting up. And then also I got a couple altcoins, some really altcoins to check in on. One just triggered a trade, and there's another one that has a possibility too. So we'll look at those. First things first, let's look at the Bitcoin chart here. Just kind of steadily heading up over the last couple days, really, and yeah, I think within the short term we're looking pretty good to break all-time new highs. I've been saying that in each of the videos. If we don't, I want to play one scenario real quick. Let's play one scenario where it doesn't and it drops back down because of something. I've got this X to A to B at a 5-0, B to C, and then down to the D at an 886, if it will go that low. If it'll come back, that's the lowest I could see it going, maybe ever. I don't know. But that's just if it takes a sharp dive. You know, sometimes these things can just fall off a cliff. So I'll have a resting order there just in case, because it would trigger and pop back up real quick there. But let's take that one off. Even shorter term, let's say it can't break this 2800 area, then shorter term, a good place to get in would be, so you got the same exact pattern, and then you'll come down to the 886 there, which is around there at 2446. So let's put a line there just in case. Let's say 2450. Just to have a nice even-ish number there. And we'll look at that one, and if it pops down here, we'll have a resting order there, and it could trigger a buy, and we could get a nice run up after that. That's a great place to buy, in my opinion. But that's just if it goes short. My gut's telling me it's going to go long. Could be wrong. But if we do go long, and if we break like I talked about in the other videos, I'm looking for 3,200 to 3,600. This is conservative right here, this line, and then this is an aggressive move up. And both of these, I'm not talking about like by the end of the year, this is where I think they'll be. I'm talking about by the end of August, this is where I think they'll be. So, or the end of a couple weeks, or a week even. It just depends on how people feel about SegWit and stuff. So let's look at these targets. These could be good places to take a little bit of profit off because we might get some good bounces there. Let's see if it plays out. I'll kind of show you in another video how I came to these numbers. I didn't just randomly pick them. Okay, let's move on to Ethereum real quick. Let's see, there we go. Nope. That's Ethereum Classic. Okay, here's what we're looking at on Ethereum. It had a nice little bounce up, but as you can see, it's not really sustaining. Overall, it's down. And so I've actually kind of moved my target down. I was looking at around here, I believe the 160 area, 162. I was looking at this pattern, and for me, it's more of a bat pattern than a Gartley. Once I started kind of evaluating it, I have this coming down into a 5-6 retracement, which technically I can still use as a bat. And overall, really, I like this. If it breaks this, you know, especially with this over here, this area right here, it breaking that, I don't like buying it right here because that's just not far. I think it would go a lot further down. So I'm looking at actually $149 Ethereum now. So if it will come down there, I know that's a long ways off, 196. I'm just putting these numbers out there beforehand because I'd like people to see how accurate some of these numbers can be. and the Fibonacci's can really be on point, especially in correlation with these patterns. So I just want to put, it's not really impressive if I put stuff out there, you know, after the fact. Anybody can read charts after it's hit a pattern, and you can say, oh man, that was a good pattern, but I want to put them out there before. And that's what all these patterns are for, is to be able to predict kind of where it's going to come down to. I'm not chasing it. I'm not trying to figure out if Ethereum is a buy or a sell right now. I don't care. The only pattern I have popped up right now is this. So for me, it's a do nothing until it comes down to $149, $150, and then I'll be buying it up. And we might be able to ride that sucker up to like 220, which would be awesome. I mean, we might could get 50% returns on this. So, and then I want to look at just real quick Ethereum with against Bitcoin here, just in case you're following this. I have it more on the daily, but I'll kind of zoom out here. You can see this giant bat pattern forming. Ethereum's just been coming down relative to Bitcoin, and I think it's going to come even further down relative to Bitcoin. So if you trade this back and forth, this is what I'm looking at. 0.055 Ethereum. So yeah, if you want to switch back and forth on that one, you can trade that one back and forth and get you more Ethereum or Bitcoin and just kind of go back and forth on that one. Okay, let's look at some of the setups on Poloniex. Okay, this is... let me go to the daily here. This is our Digibyte chart. Get over here. This is our Digibyte chart we've been looking at. As you can see, a couple of days ago we had a nice move up, and then yesterday it was kind of down, and today it's just flat. So I'd like to see a little more upward pressure with it. But for me, this is still just hold on to your trade. If you're in this with us from the beginning, you know, we got in around 400 and something, 440 Satoshis or something like that. So we're actually doing really good. I mean, we're up, you know, maybe 30% or so. So it's still really good, but we're looking for some really good targets. And I want to give you that right now so you can go ahead and place it on your chart. We're going to do a Fibonacci retracement from the C point down to the lowest point that it came, which is right there. And what I'm really looking for, I was aiming for this 5-0. You know, I think I am going to stick with that 5-0. I was thinking about coming down to this 3-8 and taking profit there, and you can if you want to. I mean, I think that's a fair bet. I'm going to try and squeak out a little bit more from this. Call it greedy, but I think I can get a little bit more out of this. So I'm going to front run the 5-0 and turn that off. And that's my target right there. So I'm looking for this around 1,300 Satoshi mark, which I'm more than triple my money on that one. So I'm really happy with that, and I'd be happy with the 3-8 too. I'll look at it and see if it bounces around and does nothing for a little bit. I may end up taking that. Okay, let's look at Dash. Okay, I talked about this one in another video also. It's just kind of hanging out. It's kind of actually forming a little bottom right here. It's not wanting to break this 168, 169 area, which is unfortunate because our target buy-in is around 159. So we'll watch it and see. If it forms too much of a floor here, that ends up meaning, you know, if it does break that, it's going to fall pretty good ways, and then we're going to have a hard time breaking that. And I'd really like to get up to about 182 for my first target. So that's why these trades are dynamic. You have to stay with it. And if I haven't said it before in the videos, listen, if you like what you're seeing, subscribe, because I'm going to keep you up to date. And you have to really stay up to date with these patterns to really be able to catch some of the profit targets and stuff. Now I'm going to leave the patterns stay the same, right? But sometimes the profit taking is dynamic. It needs to change because of, you know, everything's kind of fluid with it, so it changes. One thing that I never change though is my stop loss. So because you can really talk yourself out of some stuff. So my stop loss is right there. and it ain't moving. So $146. So we'll watch that and see. But if Dash comes down, this is Dash Tether, right, on Poloniex. If it comes down to 159, we'll be taking it long. And let's look at lumens real quick. That's not what I want to look at. Let's look at stellar lumens. As you can see, stellar lumens has been coming down, down here. It hasn't broken this X point yet, so we'll see. I think once it does, if it does, it will get a quick fall down to our target, which is around 420 Satoshis. I really like this. This is a butterfly pattern. You have this, 786 retracement here. It bounces back up to this C point, and then it comes down and it goes past your X point and down into a 1.272 extension. And I really like it because if I zoom out a little bit, right, and I look over here, we had a good little consolidation area, a good little support resistance line right there. So it's probably going to attract to that line anyways. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's move on to our two altcoins that we're really looking at. Just some funky coins. They're over on Bittrex. Let me flip over there real quick. First one I'm looking at is, I believe this is Blocknet. And I've got a butterfly pattern. It really hasn't even crossed the B point, or let alone the X point, so we're a little ways off from it. If it comes down at this angle, which is a pretty steep decline, we're looking at maybe by the third or the fourth getting an entry. But more than likely, it could be a week or two before this plays out. But I just want to put this line down here so you know that that's what I'm looking at for that one. And then the other one is going to be Feathercoin. Here's Feathercoin, and it just triggered just not too long ago, a couple hours ago. If you want to, you might wait and see if it'll pull back a little bit for, I mean, this is how accurate, let me show you, this is how accurate these patterns are. This is my 886 right here, and I front run the entry a little bit. So the buy was triggered at 1485, and it didn't go lower than 1450, which is just pinpoint accurate. Now, will it play out? I mean, I'm excited that it got me in and it sucked up a little bit, but I'm really not celebrating until I hit my target, which is up here at 2360, somewhere in there. So we'll be keeping an eye on this one. If you want to kind of watch real time with me as this one plays out, just keep an eye on it. You might be able to get another entry on it. It might come back lower. I made this a little late before. I didn't see it until just a little while ago, and I set my thing on here. So just keep an eye on it. Feathercoin, I have no idea what it is, but we're just trading off of technical analysis here. So the technicals say Feathercoin's going up, possibly up to this area right here. And again, here is my stop loss. Always set a stop loss. If it comes down to about 1,000 Satoshis, I would go ahead and just be out of that trade. All right, well, I'll check back in at the end of this week and we'll see where some of these trades are at.